Hello, everyone. Welcome to Close Up on America's Business, the program that takes you inside some of the most unique and successful companies in America. I'm Janice Marie. On each edition of our show, you have the opportunity to meet some of the most innovative business leaders in the country today. You'll find out what their products, services, technologies, and business models can do for you, and what they're doing to change our world and to change the way we do business.
Hello everybody, I'm Doug Llewelyn and welcome to our close-up studio here high above the trading floor of the American Stock Exchange on Wall Street. Today our guests are from a really unique law firm, and it's an area of law that not a whole lot of people have a great understanding of, and I think you're going to find this very interesting because they are specialists in the field of intellectual property law, which is truly a specialty in the field of law itself. They are representatives from the law firm of Scully, Scott, Murphy, and Presser, which is headquartered in Garden City on Long Island. And with us today, first on my left, Paul Esatto, and on his left is Frank DiGilio. They are senior partners of the law firm. Gentlemen, welcome. Nice to have you with us.
Nice to be here.
Let me ask you, who are the kinds of clients that are customers of a firm like yours? Frank?
We do work for any kind of business, from startup companies, Fortune 500, Fortune 100 corporations, including research institutions and universities, sometimes even individuals.
Are there specific areas that you kind of specialize in this field itself, or are you really what you would call a general intellectual property law firm?
Actually, we are what's called a full-service intellectual property firm. We do everything in the intellectual property business, but only in the intellectual property business. We have people who support us in technologies that go from genetics and molecular biology in the biotech area all the way to the software and hardware in the computer area.
I'd like to probe that for a couple of minutes and ask you, number one, how does that background help you in what you're doing now?
Well, certainly it helps immensely. To be in this field, you have to have some type of technical background. So any patent lawyer is going to have an engineering or a scientific undergraduate degree. But what sets our firm apart is a lot of our lawyers have advanced degrees, masters and PhDs in these areas. And many of us, and this is a hallmark of our firm, have research and engineering experience in the business. So we've worked as an engineer, we've worked as a researcher in a university or at a pharmaceutical company. So we've done the same work that the inventors are doing, that we're dealing with and filing their patents on. And that gives us an edge against a lot of firms.
And do you find what you're doing now really satisfying compared with what you thought you might be doing when you set out in life, years ago?
Oh, absolutely. It's great. It's the best of both worlds. We get to be lawyers. We get to go to court. We get to argue our case. We get to have that competitiveness. Yet we get to deal with cutting-edge technologies, dealing with the companies that are coming up with new drugs and pharmaceuticals and new computers and software. So it's a great business to be in.
Do you deal with subjects primarily having to do with science and biochemistry, or do you also get involved in getting patents and trademarks for other things in other areas?
The way our business is set out, we all oversee certain technological areas. Paul works in the engineering area, I work in the biotech area, and yet we do principally litigation and interference practice and counseling and things like that.
Give me a picture of the kinds of services you're most asked to perform for your clients. And a lot of your clients, we understand we're talking about Fortune 500 giant companies. Would they hire you to litigate an infringement on a copyright of theirs, or would that be handled by their in-house law firm in general?
Generally, we're hired by corporations as outside counsel to do everything from the procurement of a patent in the United States Patent Office and even abroad through our associates worldwide. That's a very basic part of our business. We do a lot of counseling, opinion work, and yes, at some level we do a great deal of litigation for many of our clients.
Give me a picture of what you typically go through when a client comes to you. And I'm assuming it's one of these major clients. First off, let me ask, what kind of clients do you serve? What industries, or does it cover the spectrum?
It really does cover the spectrum. We have clients in the electronic and computer areas. We have clients in the pharmaceutical area. We have clients in the biotech area. Clients in the mechanical area. Sometimes those are all the same. We have clients who are doing, for example, cancer research and protecting their technology. We have clients who bring in technologies from universities and we package it and they are able to market it. So we have all types of clients.
The defense industry, the food industry, every type of technology.
It covers the gamut then. Give me an idea of what you typically go through when one of your clients says, hey, we want to get a patent on this, whatever it might be. What happens then in your firm?
Well, the first thing we need to do is we will analyze and determine what's new. Do they really deserve a patent? And that's where our knowledge of the technology comes in, because we have to read prior patents. We have to do searching to look for prior art, we call it. What's been out there, publications that teach this technology, and to compare it to what they think they've invented and make a determination, is it something that's novel? And then once we make that determination, then we sit down with the inventor and extract from him as much information as we can about the idea. Hopefully he'll have written something for us, some drawings, whatever. But we usually spend some time with him, extract as much as we can about the idea, and that's where we have to talk his language. And then we prepare the case, and then we prepare a detailed description of the invention, because there's a trade-off. When a patent is an exclusive right to prevent everyone else from making, using, or offering to sell that invention. And that lasts for 20 years from the filing date of the patent. But in exchange for that, you have to disclose detailed information about that invention sufficient to enable someone else to make it. So you've got to disclose it to the world. We'll give the patent office gives you the exclusive right to that for 20 years, but when that 20 years expires, everybody else can then make it. The secret's out. And the idea is, even though you have that 20 years of exclusivity, other people then will see the idea, will know enough about it that they can then maybe go back and make it an improvement. And then that's how you keep on building, and that's how the progress of science
That's how competitors bring out competing products.
Right. That's correct, yes.
Right. Let me ask you about some of the other advantages of a firm like yours, being here in the New York metropolitan area, but you're out on the island. Is there, for clients who might be considering your firm, is there an economic advantage to be dealing with you rather than some firm that's, on Fifth Avenue or Madison Avenue?
Well, we think so. I mean, certainly you have different economic scales. We are a firm that's been in the business for over 30 years. We have a tremendous expertise, tremendous resources in the different technologies. But we also live in an environment that permits us more flexible pricing. One, because of the real estate values where we live relative to a New York City,
right.
And yet we can compete with New York City. And the other thing is our structure. Our structure is still a boutique of 30 professionals, maybe 100 employees, and it permits us more flexibility in working with clientele, more hands-on, more direct contact, and we think more responsiveness.
There's another element that kind of intrigues me. I know you do litigation. You go into court on behalf of your clients, right?
Absolutely.
Here you are an electrical engineer and a biochemist. Do you actually go argue in front of the judge and the jury if juries are there?
Yes, we do. Absolutely.
How are you do? How successful are you when you do that?
Well, I think we're very successful. Yeah. I think it's important that you have someone that has the technical background to be able to explain to the lay jury and the lay judge how it works. And that's one of the things I think distinguishes us in the litigation process from the general firms who have the general litigators who may be very eloquent, but they don't really understand the technology. And when you're dealing with a judge, the judges will have no qualms about asking a lot of questions, and I'll see when I see those situations that those general lawyers, they can't answer it. So we understand the technology, and we're able to, because we understand it, make it simple for the jury and the judge to understand.
Well, gentlemen, it's been delightful talking to you. This is a very interesting subject indeed. Our guests have been from the law firm of Scully, Scott, Murphy, and Presser, headquartered in Garden City on Long Island. I'd like to thank them again for being with us. Paul Esatto and Frank DiGilio. Guys, nice to meet you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm Doug Llewelyn, and thanks for being with us.